welcome back to Behind the Glass Doors. It's been a couple of weeks off, I think, fellas. We've had a few things going on, so it's good to be back. How are we?
It is good to be back. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very good.
awesome. So today we're going to have a chat. We're very excited to have a new website coming for PWD.
Yes.
We've got lots of websites for lots of clients all over Perth and Australia, so we thought it was time we did one on our own, which we only actually had a new website 3 years ago, right?
Yep.
The last kind of rebirth of the PWD site. So we're doing it again. We've got a new one coming very soon. Why a new website after only 3 years? What's
It's because it's an ever-evolving beast. It is always changing as the market changes and as our needs change and as we start to kind of add more things to the kind of arsenal. We always want to make sure that we're putting that forward. And the older website, it worked fine. It did the job it needed to do, but there were a lot of elements where it's like, oh man, I wish we had this part where we could then add this part to it. And you can do that, but it just depends on how it was kind of created and figured out in the before, and now what we can kind of add to the mix. So this new website, one of the things that I really like that I wanted for a little while now is the reel, like having a showcase reel right on the homepage. And that was something I wanted to do, I think, in the last one. But I think there was a lot of focus on SEO was a big part of that last website, having a lot of relevant copy, but making sure that all the like H1s were more dedicated towards those keywords, which they still are. But I think now the switch of a little bit more kind of visual representation of who we are.
And it looks amazing. I've seen it previously. It looks so good. It's something for us, and obviously we're at the business development side, so we're talking to clients. There's a lot of good stuff on this new website that showcases what we've done for other clients. Like
and that's exciting, really. It's about what we can then encourage the audience to come to the site. What are they expected to see, I guess, with the new site, really. And our designs. Our team has done a major improvement in all our brand sort of work, design work, which that's going to come across on this new site, isn't it, Chris?
Yes, I think the big thing about it is that it's more us. This has a lot more of our personality. It has a lot more of our expertise.
God, my personality.
We've got a photo of Chris Vogue on the photo.
We had a proper photo shoot for Chris alone for the cover of Vogue
I had to pay
magazine.
for that myself because I didn't want to do it here.
No, I think what this is really going to do, and the main thing that I really wanted as well for the company was really a stronger portfolio, because in the past we had only a few zones that we had ability to be able to add in visuals and content, where this one is more container based. So we're taking a lot of the containers and adding a lot more video and movement and animation and imagery, but it's a lot more to showcase what we did with that project instead of it just being one or two little slides of, kind of a combination of what we've done. It's a nice breakdown. And the great thing about it too, which I always tell the designers, is that because it's container based, it's all these blocks that are basically, as you scroll down, it's almost kind of like this visual journey. We can keep flipping and replacing those containers anytime we want. So even if we create a new portfolio set of containers, if we decide that this container here can be upgraded or it can be enhanced by 3D or doing something more exciting for that particular client, we can add that straight in. And it's this nice kind of plug and play effect to the portfolio now. So I think that's going to be a big part, especially for sales, because now you'll have a nice tool that'll showcase a lot more of what we are.
I agree. That's something, sorry, Chris, that was something that we've been sort of screaming for, haven't we? Because we know that there's so many pieces in government work, in the corporate sector that we've been doing, but it's not on our side. It doesn't express us.
But even newer projects like Metro Comic Con, which we'd done last year for the comic conventions.
It's amazing that.
But we never had the ability to showcase any of it other than maybe like a 20-second spot on our social media. Now we've broken it down and showed all the elements of what we've created in terms of like, outdoor digital screens and all the interior, graphics and everything for the convention itself.
And I was going to say, that's a good point, because so many times as we being the sales team, we introduce a client to a company for one area, but then that company what they do grows. And I remember you were showing all the aspects of Comic-Con that it grew into, it evolved, and cinema, you know, all those areas.
Something I've noticed in regards to that as well, like, I think 3 years ago, we were still a big agency 3 years ago, but what we are now is probably very different to what we were then. So I think our website has to reflect the kind of work that we can do as an agency as well, and showcase that what you're saying there, showcase the whole picture. We still deal with all size businesses, from startup through to big corporations, but you know, we can do so much more for them. So, and I think the website will show that.
And that's a good point, because we get the calls sometimes and we say, oh, there you are, PWD, you got your name on the building. Oh, maybe you're a bit too big for us.
Right.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We welcome all clients to our doors to help them in what we can do.
We are problem solvers, and that's first and foremost. We are creative problem solvers. We are logistic problem solvers. We're here to solve problems. So big companies, medium companies, that's our job, is to try to help you solve whatever the problem is that you have in the market. Another good thing about the new website is that it's going to showcase a lot more of the aspects that we didn't show in the other website. So a lot more about branding. You know, we have this ability now to be able to showcase a lot more of the work that we do, but also breaking down how that kind of process works. We have a lot more video production as well. So before we might have only had like maybe four pieces of video in terms of the production that we produce, but now we've got a whole library of all the work that we've been doing over the years, and now that's being kind of put forward in a more kind of creative and professional way that we have before.
I think the look of the website is obviously really important, user experience, et cetera, which we're very good at.
Sure.
But it's also good for us from a marketing perspective. For marketing for PWD, it's going to allow us to market certain areas of the website as well, to help with our own marketing, which obviously lends itself to when we talk to clients. They want to market their businesses through their websites as well. So it kind of ticks all those boxes.
And we're a prime example. Here we are, 3 years. 3 years has it been since the last one?
More than
just in 3 years. Well,
not much more, but
3 years. We're redeveloping a site. Why? Because we've changed, we've grown, we've improved,
it evolves,
and it's no different to the business world out there as well.
No.
We wouldn't be anything different to other businesses that people have changed, their directions changed. So having that freshness, that new site does help.
Can I ask a question? I think this when we were discussing the topic for today, for you and your team. For your design team, is it different when you're doing a website for the company you work for, i.e. PWD, versus when a client project comes in? How do you kind of tackle those?
Is it a bit too close to the sun?
Absolutely. Well, I think that's part of the issue most of the time, is that I am too close to the sun. And so you have to figure out what are you trying to achieve, you know, first and foremost. And then, because you can go in all kinds of different directions for your own brand. And I think what our brand has changed a lot over the last 3 years. You know, we've had elements and kind of brand a voice that was a specific style. So we had like the Space Kid, and we had this kind of journey of discovery, and that started to kind of phase out a little bit more, where, you know, we're going towards more of a, you know, an agency feel. So we're keeping a little bit more pulled back, but allowing the work and the visuals to kind of tell more of the story than any kind of like mascot or something that has more kind of a conceptual feel to it, which I think is probably the better way to go, because that's going to give us more longevity in terms of, as we move forward into the future, that style of what we currently are using. I mean, the new design is going to be a lot more robust in terms of keeping it up to date and to keep it more kind of fresh, because it doesn't lock itself into any kind of conceptual visual concept, which is a good way to go.
That's a good thing, because tomorrow, next week, next year, we might have the best project we've ever done. And we're always trying to kind of excel and kind of outdo ourselves. And previously, it's probably a bit hard to get that onto the website, whereas now it's just bang.
It's going to be a lot more, it's a lot more efficient too. So it's like, we are in the design team, we're constantly building out new portfolios based on all the great work that we're starting to kind of get live. And
which is what our clients want to know when we talk to them. What can you do? What projects have you done? What marketing campaigns have you done?
That's what, Chris, you're telling our audience
Yep.
to keep on board, keep on visiting the site,
Yeah.
come and see what's new, see what's changing.
Well, I think you
keep on
guys-
knocking on that door,
Yeah.
open those doors. keep on
Shameless
to-
plug from you, mate.
Hey,
Well,
mate,
I
mate,
think-
you know what? Look, on the end, we are in sales.
PWD.com.au.
But I do think you guys are going to be more the advocate of that, because once you
Yeah.
get the link and you have all those direct links to like the portfolio
Yeah.
and to some of the more kind of meatier pages, I think you're going to be our biggest, assets in terms of getting that out to the
Yeah.
right people at the right time.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good tool to give you a nice head start.
To put you on the spot, when do you reckon it will be live, the new site? How long are we talking? Ask that.
Well, it's a
say soon.
sliding scale, so I'm going to say very soon. I
Okay.
can't lock you
Let's
into
leave it
any
at that.
date
Let's leave it at that.
because I think it's one of those things where obviously we want to make sure it's done right. We want to make sure that all of these, all the quality control and checks are done properly.
And I
So,
think given the
So tomorrow's okay.
no, it's soon. It's very soonish, soon.
And I think given we've got a site that's functional and working and up and running, and that, that's a good point. If you do have a new site built by us or another agency,
Yeah.
your old site does stay live. It's not like you just lose your site while the new one is being built. So,
No, but one of the big things that you do have to pay attention to is because we've made a real kind of, we've made an effort to make sure the SEO is in a really good place based on where we kind of rank and how our searches are done. We have to make sure that is really looked after when we make the transfer, because you can have a great looking site and you can have all these new kind of bells and whistles, but if we don't think about that side and make sure everything's transferring properly, we start to
You're
lose
right.
that ability.
We and
to be
that as
highly
a
ranked.
sales team,
Thank you for that.
SEO migration. That's something that we include when we do a website
Yeah.
project, because you're right. You can be ranking really well with a terrible looking website. Get a new website that looks amazing, but suddenly drops right off.
Right.
So SEO migration is a really, really important part when you build a new website.
So it's a balance. We have to make sure that balance is looked after. So obviously, thank you for putting me on the spot, but
Yeah,
I can't
no worries.
tell you anything other than soon.
So, Macro, I think he said close the business today, did
Today,
we? Yeah.
Yeah, like today or early in the morning, I was hearing, but yeah.
We might leave it there, guys. We're just over, my 10-minute thing. We're 11.5 minutes. So,
Hey, we did all right.
yeah, we did. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks.
And we'll be back
Look
next
out for
week.
the site.